The question everyone in the Undertale and Deltarune community, besides the buzzkills on Reddit, want to know the answer to. Who is Dr. W.D. Gaster? This theory isn't an original, nor is it new, but over time what started as a joke theory with only a very small handful of people actually theorizing about it legitimately, has slowly become a very likely theory, with a large impact on the meta-narrative of Deltarune. In the past, we proved with near certainty that the Mystery Man is Gaster. This wasn't for nothing. The appearance of Mystery Man is very important. In the Omega Flowey fight, there is a TV with a strange face that appears throughout the fight. It appears to be black and white and heavily distorted video of a real person's face. Toby Fox has used this face as his Twitter profile picture for a very long time. Now, I'm not saying this face is identical to Gaster, it's just a creepy distorted black and white face. However, the only true 100% confirmed appearance of Gaster is this tiny, monochrome face that Follower 2 carries, which is just a normal looking face. It's not black and white, but it is close enough. So you're probably wondering how we make the jump from Flowey to Toby's Twitter to Gaster. Well, there is the theory that Gaster was actually the one that made Flowey and did everything in the True Lab. Personally, though, I've never believed this, because Alphys reacts very personally to Flowey taking over in the pacifist ending. However, Flowey does still have some unexplained connections to Gaster. The flower that Flowey is based on is an aster flower. Right before the Omega Flowey fight, Flowey makes a distorted face that has the same scar marks as Gaster. It's important to remember that Flowey mimics the faces of others, including the eye of Sham, which by all accounts should not be something Flowey has seen. However, we see an unused sprite that was supposed to appear in the waterfall history plaques that resembles the form of Omega Flowey. In the final game, it just has a text saying there's a drawing of a disturbing creature, but it still is implied to be the same drawing. It's supposed to depict what happens when a monster absorbs a human soul. This could mean that these forms and faces that should be unknowable come with the territory of becoming a monster with a human soul. Also, probably a huge stretch, but one of the faces flipped upside down and inverted kinda looks like Gaster's body. Just worth noting. There's another connection between Gaster and Toby. Toby's famous avatar, the small white dog, is made entirely of black and white pixels. The Mystery Man sprite is also just black and white pixels. Of course, there are other characters that are only black and white, like Frogget, but still worth bringing up. Redacted, contrary to what you might assume, actually isn't made of black and white pixels. It's just made of white pixels. The rest is completely transparent, it just often appears on a black background. Also, something I don't know what to make of is during a Toby Fox Indie Live Expo promotional video, Toby says he's not the annoying dog and is tired of people saying he is. I suppose it's apparent that there have always been more than one of the small white dogs, but it always seemed to be implied that they were the one and the same. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. There's one much larger connection between Toby Dog and Gaster. Gaster's full name is Dr. W.D. Gaster. It's been long speculated what the WD stands for. Most people have collectively decided that the WD stands for Wingdings, which is the font of symbols that Gaster often uses in secret messages. This holds up pretty well since Sans and Papyrus both are named after fonts, with Gaster being highly linked to them. Also, remember how I said earlier that part of Gaster's name is a flower? Well, Aster is also the name of a font. After doing a lot of digging, I found an old tweet that might have accidentally confirmed that his full name is Wingdings Gaster, since Toby responded to a comment about fighting Wingdings. However, there is one other possibility for what WD stands for. White Dog Gaster. Toby Fox is Gaster. It really makes more sense the longer you think about it. Deltarune was originally announced by Gaster, and his wording greatly implied that he created it. Of course, this was Toby Fox behind the account, and he is the true creator of Deltarune. Undertale and Deltarune have always been personal projects to Toby Fox. It's not surprising that he would put an important self-insert character into the game. And since this whole franchise originated from a fever dream, and most dreams star the dreamer as the main character, is highly likely. But why exactly does Toby have two different self-inserts? Well, are they even that separate? In Deltarune Chapter 1, the Toby dog was last seen in the room where the Cyber City gets created, and in Chapter 2, he escapes the crime scene and does donuts in the road, creating a traffic jam specifically to make sure that Chris and Susie go into the dark world. So, like a Gaster, the small white dog seems to be pulling strings and making these events happen. Does this add up with the other aspects of Gaster? Gaster seems to be going around and recruiting very powerful people with shadow crystals, when before he merely had people who follow his work. Much like how recently, Toby hired a full dev team, when before he did most of everything himself. What about how Gaster fell into his creation? How do you explain that? My only guess is it's an abstract representation of him becoming way too ambitious with his projects. What about Gaster's relationship with Sans and Papyrus? While it's never confirmed, it's commonly believed that Gaster is their father, and that completely works. These two characters are like Toby's children. Even before they were fan-favorite characters, they appeared in nearly every single piece of Undertale promotional material there is. But one question still remains. Why does Toby need two self-inserts? Well, for one, it might take away from the seriousness if this godlike character was just a silly dog. Believe it or not, a creator's self-insert can be more than just a goofy cameo character. I can already see a great meta storyline forming with Toby Fox as a very important character in the world of Deltarune. I'm sure there's more instances of Gaster having parallels with Toby, but those are the big ones. And of course, not every aspect of Gaster has to be in some relation to Toby's true self. He can still be a character within the universe of the lore, too. So what do you think? Is there enough evidence to consider this a fact? Let me know, and stay tuned for the next Gaster video because there's still so much to talk about.